Hey guys, what's up? Today we're going to talk about 7 red flags that your lawyer might be scamming you. If you see any of these red flags with your lawyer, you should probably fire them immediately. That being said, there are some exceptions for some of these rules, but we'll go over those in this video, so make sure you stick around until the end. The first rule is that your lawyer is overpromising you results. This is one of the biggest red flags that your lawyer is scamming you. And there are a few ways that your lawyer can overpromise you results. One way is if your lawyer is promising you that they are going to get you a certain result, like promising you that they are going to get you a certain amount of money, or promising you that they are going to get certain property divided in a certain way. Or even saying things like, "I know I can prove your case," or "I know I can win your case." It's never a good idea to hire a lawyer who is guaranteeing you results. Only the courts can do that, and no lawyer can ever guarantee you results. If they promise you results, then they're probably lying to you, and they're probably not being honest in other areas as well. They could also be overpromising by just telling you that everything is going to be fine and that you have nothing to worry about. Any good lawyer should be realistic with their clients and let them know that there are risks involved and that they may lose the case. But a bad lawyer will just tell you that everything's going to be fine and that you have nothing to worry about because they don't want to lose you as a client. They want to get your money. The second red flag is that your lawyer isn't explaining things to you properly. Now, this could be for a number of different reasons. Your lawyer may not be explaining things to you properly because they think that you're stupid. Or they may not be doing it because they don't really know the law themselves and they're afraid to admit that they don't know something. Or they could be doing it because they want your money and they don't really care about actually helping you out. Either way, it's not a good sign if your lawyer isn't taking the time to explain things to you properly. You need a lawyer who is going to be honest with you and explain things to you in a way that you understand. Otherwise, how are you supposed to make decisions about your case if you don't understand what's going on? This also ties into the first red flag that we talked about, which is if your lawyer is overpromising you results. Because a lot of times, when a lawyer is overpromising you results, they're also not explaining things to you properly. They're just trying to make you happy so that you'll hire them and give them your money. The third red flag is that your lawyer is returning your calls and emails promptly. A good lawyer is always going to return your phone calls and emails promptly. They're going to keep you informed every step of the way, and they're going to make sure that you understand what is going on with your case. If your lawyer is not returning your phone calls or emails promptly, then that is a red flag that they're not really interested in helping you out. They could be too busy for you, which is an issue because you need a lawyer who's going to give you their full attention. You're not going to get that from a lawyer who is too busy to return your calls or emails, and I know that lawyers get busy, but it's still important that they make time for their clients, especially if those clients are paying them a lot of money. The fourth red flag is that your lawyer is asking you for more money. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that your lawyer is trying to scam you, but it is a red flag that you should be aware of. Sometimes lawyers will ask for more money because they didn't do their job properly in the beginning, and they didn't explain things to their clients properly, and now their clients want to sue them for malpractice. So if you're ever asked for more money by your lawyer, you should probably fire them right away. It could be that they're just trying to scam you and take your money, but it could also be that they're trying to cover up some kind of mistake that they made. Either way, you don't want to be associated with a lawyer who is asking for more money. You want someone who is honest with you and upfront about their fees. The fifth red flag is that your lawyer is billing you for things that you didn't agree to. This is another red flag that you should be aware of. Sometimes lawyers will try to bill you for things that you didn't agree to, or for things that they didn't do. For example, they might bill you for travel expenses that they never incurred, or for court costs that they never paid. This is a common tactic that lawyers use to try to scam their clients, but it's also sometimes just a mistake. So if you're ever billed for something that you didn't agree to or for something that you know wasn't done, then you should talk to your lawyer about it right away. If they refuse to remove the charges, then you should probably fire them. The sixth red flag is that your lawyer is not keeping you informed about your case. This is another red flag that your lawyer is not looking out for your best interests. A good lawyer is always going to keep you informed about your case. They're going to tell you what's going on, what to expect at every step of the way, and they're going to make sure that you understand what's happening. If your lawyer is not keeping you informed, then they may be trying to hide something from you. They may be trying to hide the fact that they've made a mistake or that they're not really working on your case. Either way, you don't want a lawyer who is not keeping you informed. You want a lawyer who is honest with you and who you can trust. And finally, the seventh red flag is that your lawyer is not returning your phone calls or emails. This is a big red flag that your lawyer is not interested in helping you out. When you hire a lawyer, you want someone who is going to be there for you and who is going to fight for your rights. You don't want someone who is going to ignore you and not return your calls or emails. If your lawyer is not returning your phone calls or emails, then they are probably too busy for you or they don't care about your case. Either way, you don't want to hire that lawyer. So if you see any of these red flags in your own lawyer, you should probably fire them immediately. I know it's not always easy to find a new lawyer, but it's better to do that than to continue working with a lawyer who is not looking out for your best interests. Now, I know I said that there were some exceptions to the rules, and the first exception is if your lawyer is a solo practitioner. Solo practitioners are lawyers who work by themselves, and they often don't have a lot of money, so they may not be able to return your calls or emails right away. However, if they're not returning your calls or emails for weeks at a time, then that is a red flag. Another exception is if your lawyer is a public defender. Public defenders are lawyers who are appointed by the government to represent people who can't afford a lawyer. They are often overworked and underpaid, so they may not be able to give your case the attention that it deserves. However, if you feel like your public defender is not giving your case the attention it deserves, then you should ask for a new one. Well, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button below and leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the video. Also, if you're not already subscribed, please go ahead and do so and turn on notifications. That way you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.